Hello and welcome to the Pacific Northwest region that we're going to be focusing on this week. It is delicious fresh food in this region. Some states that consist of the Pacific Northwest, that's the bottom left part of the United States, and that includes Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, and California. We're going to be focusing a lot on California today. We're going to be making salmon. So it is not just your typical salmon. We're going to be making a orange salmon taco. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. And then you also have the option of making maple bacon bars. So bacon is a very, very popular item in the Pacific Northwest. So we decided to have you, if you want to make maple bacon bars, you can make those as well, or you can do one or the other. And it's a spin-off the Voodoo donut craze, their maple bacon donut. All right, so before we get started, I do have a couple of clips I want you to see about salmon. So here's a little information to know about salmon in the Pacific Northwest.
This is obviously salmon. Well, what is
sockeye?
Really good sockeye salmon. I'm here with Miss Barbara. Now, we obviously take fish here and fillet it. How do we do this?
Well, UCL is about to show you, and filleting actually is kind of a lost art anymore. It's very hard to find good flayers down here, but they have what a skill. So
what is he doing? I mean, is it harder than it looks?
Absolutely. Well, we're going to try one here in just a moment, and I'll show you one side and let you try another. But
okay.
It isn't difficult.
And I definitely hear, it's not the riz, but I hear the slicing that's happening. I mean, we got a whole bunch of stuff happening back here too. How long does it take to fillet an entire salmon?
Oh, they can do it in a matter of seconds. They're very. He's not doing it real fast, but he's very fast.
Oh, I want to try it.
Okay.
I want to try this.
Let's get you.
You did a nice job. Yeah,
We're
you're
gonna
welcome.
put this one aside.
Okay.
And when we do this, you're gonna hold your hand right here.
Yep.
You're gonna put your knife here,
okay.
and you're gonna run it along the bone right here. Okay. And then like down to here. So you need a glove.
Okay.
It's all about safety.
Right, it's all about safety. Well, how about you do this part? This part's hard.
All right.
And scary, because I think you need a glove. Okay.
And you can feel the bone, so we just run it along the side here.
Ooh,
okay.
Yeah.
And then we just see?
And that's it?
That's it.
Oh, wait. Oh, okay. See, look. Guys, I did it. It was super fast.
So that is how to fillet a salmon, and the predominant food in the Pacific Northwest is salmon and seafood, but salmon is one of the main items. Their weather is very, very, very rainy. There's lots of mountains, really beautiful coastlines, which is why they're so known for their seafood. So as I'm prepping up for our demo, here's just another clip about things you never knew about salmon, so you are prepared to work with it.
Salmon's popularity comes with quite a bit of confusion. What with multiple varieties, health claims, and concerns about sustainability. What's true and what's not? Here's a look at some things you probably never knew about salmon. Most of the salmon that we eat is conveniently named for the ocean or region it came from, but it's not quite that simple. Pacific salmon, for instance, covers a range of popular salmon, including gourmet favorites Chinook and sockeye, as well as the less pricey coho variety. Atlantic salmon and Norwegian salmon, however, are generally both farmed rather than wild. When in doubt about salmon's origins, be sure to ask your fishmonger exactly where the salmon you're buying is coming from, even if at your end it's coming out of a can.
Yesterday, while you was out visiting, I went and ate a can of your salmon. So I stopped by the Piggly Wiggly this morning and I got you another can.
So what's the difference between wild salmon and farmed salmon? While farmed salmon will certainly save a few bucks at the store, wild salmon is going to deliver much more for your buck in terms of not only flavor, but more importantly in nutrients. Wild salmon contains higher levels of potassium, zinc, iron, and calcium, but comes with less fat and calories than an equal serving of farmed salmon. While both contain high levels of heart and brain healthy omega-3s, science shows those in farmed salmon to be of lesser quality. Still, even farmed salmon is one of the healthier food choices around, so just aim to buy the best quality salmon that you can find and afford. And the fresher the better. You know, just to be safe.
The salmon mousse.
All right, so let's get down to our fabulous demo of our salmon tacos. So, as you saw in the two clips, how to fillet, and then just a little bit of information about salmon. Salmon is a very versatile fish. It's very lean. It's very healthy for you, and you can do a lot with it. You can fry it. You could bread it. You could sear it, grill it, whatever you really want. It is not that expensive. I have 4 pieces of salmon here that we're going to make for our tacos. We're going to marinate them first. And this costs $4. So I actually ordered this off Amazon. And it's actually a wild caught salmon. And they came in little plastic packages, vacuum packed. And to defrost salmon very quickly, they were frozen. Fresh salmon is going to be a little bit more expensive, but I just ran some water in a bowl with the plastic still on them, and then they defrosted, and I took them out, put them in here so we can marinate. All right. Fresh salmon is going to be a lot more expensive. Frozen is a little bit cheaper. So just keep that in mind. Some other really popular foods in the region of the Pacific Northwest is oysters. Again, seafood is very popular, and hazelnuts actually are grown in Oregon. So you can use hazelnut oils and to cook the fish. So just another popular ingredient. All right. So in our marinade, it is orange marinated salmon. I'm just going to prep up a couple of things. So obviously I have an orange. All right. We're going to be using a little chili powder, and then we're going to be using a little bit of ground cumin. So I am going to cut my orange in half. All right. And just like so. And I'm actually we're going to juice it. So to do that, I'm just going to take a knife, and I'm going to just cut some slits into the center, just like so. So it's easier for juicing. And then I am just going to squeeze, just like so. And we want all of the juice from the whole orange for our marinade. So when you're making a marinade, you always need an adherent. So we're going to use a little bit of oil, olive oil. You use vegetable oil, hazelnut oil, walnut oil, whatever kind of oil you like. All right. And then you need an acid. So the oil adheres and the acid preserves. All right. So I'm just going to take my knife, and I'm just going to cut into there, just like so. And I'm just going to squeeze out my orange. All right, just like so. If you get some of the pulp of the orange in there, totally fine. Same with the seeds, totally fine. All right. So to there, I add 2 teaspoons of my ground cumin. And then I'm going to add a half teaspoon of my chili powder, just for a little bit of flavor. All right. I'm going to get a spoon to just stir that around. All right. Just like so. All right, I'm just going to take that little piece off because we don't need it. All right, so it's very spicy. It gives you a little kick. All right, so before I touch my salmon, I am going to put on some gloves because salmon is our protein and it is an animal product. All right, so I'm just going to put those on. All right. I did wash my hands before the demo, and all I touched was produce, so I am okay. All right, so now I'm going to take my oil, just a little bit, and I'm just going to drizzle it on. So again, oil is an adherent, so I'm just going to rub that on my salmon, and then I am going to spread my marinade right on top of the salmon, just like so. All right. So again, for this region, you only have to make one dish. So you can do the salmon tacos, or you can do the maple bacon bars. The last thing I'm going to add is a pinch of salt. If you are making this at home, you just do 1. If you're making this at school, you are going to let this marinate overnight. I'm going to let this marinate, and then I will come back. I'll cook this up for you. We're going to do a little actually dredging in flour, searing it up on a pan, and then kind of cutting it and serving it with some tortillas. Some optional toppings are guacamole, salsa, coleslaw, and I'm going to actually show you how to make a Baja coleslaw, which is going to give this a little bit of crunch. So we will be back, and I will show you the finished cooking method of the tacos after this finished marinates. Thank you. We'll see you soon. Hello, and we are back to the Pacific Northwest region. I just finished marinating the salmon for the orange salmon tacos, and now I'm just going to show you how to make a Baja slaw as a crunchy topping for it. So the first thing I'm going to do is coleslaw is, coleslaw is made from cabbage, and you're probably like, I don't know about that. It adds really good texture, and we're going to add some nice, yummy, like sweet flavors to this, and it will complement the spice in the cumin and the chili powder that we marinated our salmon. So I just need half of this. So this is kind of looks like iceberg lettuce, but there is a core here. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to cut on the side, and you're actually like creating like a V. All right, just like so, just to cut that out. All right, so I'm just gonna pull that out, and then we'll dispose of that. So now I'm actually gonna cut this in half because I'm only using half. You can buy this pre-shredded if you would like. You want about 2 cups. All right, so we are ready to go. All right, so I'm just going to take my chef knife and my cutting board, and I am going to cut nice thin shreds, and it naturally does divide, so you can kind of see there. I'm just going to keep going until it's all, so it kind of looks like shredded lettuce, but it's actually shredded cabbage. And once you add all your seasonings, it's really crunchy and stiff right now, and then it will kind of soften up a little bit. Okay, just like so. And again, this is just a topping for your tacos. You do not have to make it. You can also add pico de gallo. You could add guacamole, whatever you prefer. I just thought this was something a little bit different, so that's why I decided to show you how to make it. All right, so I'm going to add this to my bowl here. Just like so. All right. There we go. All right. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to make our dressing. So in here, I have 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, and you can use mayo, Cool Whip, whatever you prefer. So 2 tablespoons of that. And then I also have 3/4 of a teaspoon of lime juice. All right. So you can use fresh or you can use bottled, whatever you prefer. I'm just going to add that right there. So we're essentially creating like a salad dressing. So the base for the salad dressing is the mayonnaise. And then salad dressing always had some type of acid. So we're going to add that lime flavor. And then we're going to add 2 drops of hot sauce. Okay, so 1, 2. You could add more based off your flavor preference. And then I'm just going to take a fork and I am just going to mix this up. Okay, I think I want mine to be a little bit more spicy. So I'm just going to add a couple more drops of that hot sauce. Just like so. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the dressing. It's not a lot. It's just adding a little bit of flavor on top. We don't want to saturate it and it be so wet, right? So now what you're going to do is I am going to take tongs or fork and I am going to just mix this around, all right? Just so that slaw gets coated with that dressing. And then you're just gonna let it kind of sit and marry, all right? Just like so. You can cover this up and then you'll have it for when your tacos are ready to go. And I'll show you what it looks like after it's kind of sat and done its thing. All right, we'll be back. All right, so we are back and we are going to be finishing off our Pacific Northwest region orange salmon tacos. So I finished marinating the salmon. All right, I let it marinate for about an hour. All right, in the refrigerator. If you're going to do this at home, the more you marinate it, the more flavor. But for the purpose of my demo, I want to make sure that I getting through this quickly. So what I'm going to do is I have a dinner plate here that I just put a paper towel on, and I'm just going to take my salmon and I'm going to set it on there to kind of soak up some of those juices so I can get this ready for frying. All right, just like so. All right. All right. We're going to get rid of this because it has salmon juice, so we don't want that. Okay. What we're going to do now, I have my salmon kind of drying off on paper towel. I have another plate here for my salmon that's ready to fry. So here I have some flour, and I'm just adding a pinch of salt. All right. And I'm just going to mix that up just a little bit in there. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my salmon that I've dried, still has seasoning, and I'm just going to dredge it in my flour. This is going to help give it a nice crispy exterior. Okay, not like fried chicken exterior, just a little bit of crispiness. All right, so I'm going to set that on my plate. Be very careful because that salmon was marinated. It is very soft. We don't want it to fall apart. It's very delicate when working with fish, not like chicken or steak. All right, last piece. Just gonna get both sides, just like so. All right. We are ready to go. I'm just going to take off my gloves for cooking. All right, and then let's go over to our pan. All right, so here we go. This is for my tortillas. This is for the taco, for the meat. So I'm just going to heat this up. My oil, I just put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil in there. All right, wait until you add the salmon so it gets nice and bubbly. I'm just going to get a new pair of gloves. I feel like I'm going to need to touch the salmon a little bit. So I'm just going to get a new pair of gloves just in case. All right, I'm just going to turn that down a little bit. All right. And it is kind of shimmery. Okay, so I'm going to take a straight edge spatula. If you use tongs, it might break, and we don't want the salmon to break. So I'm just going to take this, and it's not warm yet, so I'm just waiting 1 sec. Make sure. All right, sizzling up a little bit. So I'm going to take my other piece of salmon. One more piece here. All right. And then my last piece, I'm just going to fit it in there. It will shrink up a little bit so it all fits. All right. So we're just going to let this sear up a little bit until it gets nice and crispy on one side. In the meantime, I am going to start heating some corn tortillas. All right. To do that, I am going to heat a skillet with a little bit of vegetable or extra virgin olive oil. All right, just like so. I know you can heat them on the range, but this will give it a little bit more of a crispy texture. So I'm just going to take 4 of them. All right, I'll show you how to do that. Just like so. All right, so I'm just waiting for that to get a little hot and crispy. Nice and hot. All right, you can kind of see. You don't want to flip these too soon. You want to wait for the salmon to get a nice crust on that bottom edge before you go flipping it. All right. So with my tortilla, I am just going to kind of coat the top and the bottom with oil, and then I'm going to sear it up just to get it warm and a little crispy, and then the oil adds a little bit of flavor as well. All right. So this is searing up nicely. Gonna get my spatula, kind of see what it's doing. Okay, it's not ready yet. You don't want to keep flipping the salmon, or else what's going to happen is it's going to fall apart. So you just kind of want to wait for it to cook a little bit, get crispy on the one side, and then we'll flip. You can kind of start seeing similar to chicken. This is thin salmon. So you can kind of see it's cooking here. I see becoming a little more pink, opaque color. All right, let me get another. So here is my tortilla. So see how it's bubbling up? I'm just going to take this and flip it like so. I'm going to grab a plate for my tortillas. Want them to get toasted golden brown. All right, so you can see the salmon is getting ready to flip. It's all opaque here. So I am going to flip this one first. Perfect. So it doesn't, you don't see the flour. That just makes a nice crispy exterior. This one, you can kind of see that crispiness. It's not going to be super crispy, but a nice little breading. All right, we'll let that keep cooking. All right, and then my shells. So see how it's nice and brown there. Just a little bit more. I'm going to take that one off. And then I'm going to add in my next one. You can always add more oil if need be. And we'll be back. I'll show you what this looks like when it's done, and then I'll assemble our tacos. Hello, and we are back for the plating of the orange salmon tacos. Everything is ready for me to put them together. So a couple of things just as a reiteration. We marinated the salmon. You can do yours overnight. I did mine just for about an hour, and then we dredged it in a little bit of flour just to give it a crispy exterior, so it wasn't too soft. And the finished product looks like so. And we're going to keep them whole. All right. Then we have some toasted corn tortillas that I just did in a pan with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Have a little bit of cheese. All toppings are optional. A little bit of salsa or pico de gallo. And then we have our Baja slaw that we took some cabbage, mayonnaise, hot sauce, and lime juice. And then I also just have some limes. All right. So to present these, you can do a couple of different things. My pieces of salmon are a little bit big, so I am actually going to cut these on an angle like so. All right. And then I'm going to take my tortilla. I'm going to take that piece of salmon, put that right in there. Take a little bit of my slaw. For a little bit of crunch, it has that mayonnaise, which is the cooling effect. A little bit of cheese. I'm just going to use just a little bit of that, and then ready to go. All right. If we were going to serve these at a catering event, they don't hold up. We would, we would have the salmon and then the toppings so people could choose their own. We could also, if we were serving this plated, we would have the little taco inserts. Then we would build the taco for a guest. Typically an order would be 2 to 3 tacos would be for one guest order. All right. So again, you can make the orange salmon tacos, or you can make the maple bacon bars. Whichever you prefer is your choice. Enjoy. Thank you.